Hello, this is Michael from the Boardgames Chronicle. Today I'm bringing to you another material about Command Scholars Medieval Crusades expansion. What I'm planning to do today is to present to you the new mechanics which this game brings to the world of Medieval in Commands and Colors. So what new interesting features, units, I don't know, inspired actions Mr. Borg brought to us, and believe me, he has a lot of wonderful ideas. If you would like to learn more about this game, exactly what's it's about its components, time periods, and so on, please check the unboxing. It should be below the video. I will put there. I also did a pretty comprehensive comparison of medieval with ancients. So should you be willing to see how those two games differ and where they are alike, you can also check below the video series of materials I did. This will not be a very detailed, video, because if so, you can simply read the rulebook and this will be really helpful for me. What I'm going to do is to focus on the most prominent and visible, let's say, changes which Mr. Borg brought. We will do it, of course, with a game setup, because for me this is the best way to present some of the things in practice. And this practice should help you also, of course, to grasp them. This is one of the scenarios which I set up. Actually, what I'm planning to do is, after recording this, video of the changes in the game, to play one scenario as an example of play. This is the scenario which is called, let me tell you, this is very nice scenario because it's actually featuring most of the units I would like to present to you. This is Mont Gisard in November 1177, and it features a lot of things I will be touching, like Knights, Templars, Hospitaliers, Relics. We'll have a special cavalry here, we'll have the crossbows and so on. So all this stuff we will cover. Yes, so I believe we are ready. Let's start. Let's start with the thing which is most striking, most important, and which drives the whole expansion. What it will be? Those will be knights. Yes, knights are key new element of this game, I would say. You might think, okay, this is just a one new unit. No, it's a completely new tactics on the, this time not Byzantine but Crusade side. The Byzantine side, as you can see, is in a violet, and this will really change a lot in the game mechanics and how it's being played. What type of knights we have? We have three types of knights, and let me bring them to you. The regular knight, the Templar, and Hospitalier. So this will be the three types of knights. I'm showing you the cavalry version. This is the regular knight, heavy cavalry knight. You can see the red rectangle with a white sword and white border. This will be, if I'm not mistaken, Templar, and this will be the Hospitalier. You can see all of them looking very nice and shiny. They have also the version with when they are simply as foot infantry. And when they are foot infantry, that does not mean a good situation. They should normally fight only, mounted. So that will mean that, for example, they are desperate and something bad happened, unfortunately. Now, as for the statistics of those units, I believe the instruction does a pretty good job of explaining their features. So just let me briefly tell you. Heavy mounted, heavy knight cavalry, as just any heavy cavalry in Command Scholar Medieval, will have 4 dice, will hit on swords, and they will ignore 1 sword from the lower class. It will be tricky because the lower class for the knights will be also other heavy cavalry. However, super heavy will strike through them. I will come back to this in a moment. Important thing is that, of course, they can evade from foot. As long as they have full strength, they can ignore one flag and retreat normally to hexes. Yes. There is something called Motivated Knight Cavalry, which we'll talk about in a moment. So this is the regular knight. The Hospitalier and Templar are a bit better because, in addition to what I already said, that they hit on 4 die, that hit on swords, that they ignore, from the lower class, including heavy cavalry, which will be lower class, they strike on leaders. So leader symbol rolled, score hits in close combat, and they will always ignore the first flag if they wish to. So these are really potent, units. I believe I haven't seen, or maybe seen in the Ancients. In the Ancients, we had similar units sometimes, like Sacred Band, which was hitting on, leader, and which was hitting, ignoring the flag. But the bonus of the Knights, of the Templars especially, and Hospitaliers is not that they ignore the flag, they hit on leaders, but because they are cavalry, they can do momentum advance and hit once again. So in that regard, they are even better than the Sacred Band or Praetorian Guard from the Ancients. So these were the knights. The second important thing which I would like to bring to your attention are the new units which this game brings. Namely, I would like to call out 3. Of course, we covered the knights. But there are 3 additional units which I think makes a difference. First of all, this is Auxilia Bow Infantry. You remember from the medieval base game, Auxilia was a true cannon fodder and more like a liability than any kind of a force you can count on. They were not evading, they were rolling to die. Most of other units were ignoring swords from her and only range of 2. So we are getting a bit improvement here because now Auxilia, at least Auxilia with the bows, will fire at the range of 4, which is definitely something better. So if you look at the rulebook, you will see here is the description of this new unit, Auxilia Bow Infantry. They fire at the range 4. Still a very weak unit, but at least something better. However, we are getting much better range unit in this, expansion, and they are standing here. And these are the medium crossbow infantry. Yes, we are finally getting the crossbows, and they are making the difference. They are making the difference because, let's also jump quickly to the rulebook. They fire at the range 4, and most of the units in medieval fire at 4 because the technology changed and the range is higher. If they move, they will have no range combat. But most important, swords hits in ranged combat. So they do not only hit on the color of the unit they are targeting, they are also hitting on swords. And of course, they ignore one sword from the lower class. They do not have too many, dice in the close combat, but these are the range units, very effective. And in this scenario, there are like 2 of them for the Crusaders with a range of 4 with hitting on color and sword. Perfect depiction of the crossbow infantry. Really like it. The third new unit, which I would like to call out and to show to you, will be here. The rulebook brings a very long name to those units. These are the allied units to the Crusaders, and they are, not maybe levied, they are mercenaries, so they are hired from the local population in Palestine and so on. These are the Turcopole Light Bow Crusader Allied Cavalry. Simply Turcopole, cavalry. What these units are? These are the light units, first and foremost, of course. They have bow, so they have a range of 4. actually those guys, because these are the mounted, they will have range 3. Sorry, yeah, the range 3. They will roll 2 dice. They do not hit on swords in range combat, but they hit in the close combat, where they have 2 die. They can advance and move 1 hex around, and they will not do the Persian shot, if I remember correctly. Exactly. So no Persian shot. They will hit on swords in the close combat, and when there is a mounted charge, they will have 1 additional die. So this is a combination of a good and bad, let's say, features of other light cavalry. So they don't have a Persian shot, but they hit on the swords in the close combat. They are getting, the additional die from the mounted charge. A very interesting unit and a very good addition to otherwise heavy units of the Crusaders. I believe that will be all about the units. Let's move to another aspect which I would like to present to you. Now, there are like 4 additional new rules about cavalry, and things are changing, and I would like to put them in one point as a third point together so we can discuss it here. Those new rules will be, first of all, cavalry interpenetrate. What does it mean? It means that if we have such situation that we have infantry here, and let's say cavalry here, and this interpenetrate can be done both by Crusader side and Middle Eastern side, however, with a slight difference. If we had such situation and we order that cavalry, on the first hex of move, they can move through infantry and then continue their movement. So in this case, if they have two movement points, they can move 1, 2, and get here. Nothing happens to this unit. They simply cannot be moved during this turn. Even if ordered, they will not move, and the cavalry can go through them. Easy, yeah, straightforward. The Middle Eastern side was also trying such things. However, for them it will work slightly differently. Let's assume this cavalry is here. On the first hex of movement, they would like to get here, and of course, because of the woods, they cannot, because they will need to stop. From this side, they cannot move because it's too far. They want to move like this. 1, 2, 3. This is legit. This is possible. They can do it. However, because of the Middle Eastern infantry being not so well organized like the Crusader ones, when you do this, interpenetrate, so move on the first hex on the infantry unit and then further away, you roll 1 die. If you roll color of the unit you are moving from, 1 block is lost. So you need to remember. Cavalry interpenetrate, very nice tactics to sneak out of the back of your infantry. By the way, I will bring one more thing to you. Okay, so I can show it to you. I have it with my back, with my full box. So let me get it ready. Okay, because what I would like to talk now about. There is a motivated knight cavalry. I told you about the knights, and I believe we talked a lot about it. Normally, when the cavalry attacks, like here, and let's say they roll the flag, they need to move back. So when they attack, they are very motivated. They do not move back. So if they attack here, they can enter this hex. And of course, normally you would be able to move 1 hex around. Momentum advance, then you move 1 hex around and bonus close combat. For the knights, when they would like to choose this additional hex, it can be hex from which they started or adjacent to it. They need to move forward. So if they want to move 1 hex around, it has to be this or this. Simple like that. Yes, so they cannot move back because their honor will not allow them, and they will be treated as cowards. Yeah. So again, if they attack from that side, so like this, they move, 1, 2, attacking here, they got the flag. Yeah, so they can enter here, and they cannot enter here and here. They can only enter those two hexes. The hex they choose, of course, they don't have to choose this additional hex. They might use this additional hex, but if they want to choose this additional hex, so they pursued, they cannot move back. So this is something which will be to some extent making them a little less effective. The third, let's say, tactic I wanted to touch is Crusader Cavalry Pursuit and Feint Retreat. The Feint Retreat was a tactic used by the Middle Eastern armies against the heavy and medium cavalry. So how can we do it? Let's say we have such a situation. This very heavy, very powerful cavalry. I believe these are hospitaliers. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm messing this up, I will have to excuse you guys. So maybe I will quickly double check, so there are no mistakes. Yeah. This is temple. Yeah, I'm not messing this up. So this very heavy hospitalier is attacking those poor guys. Yeah, light cavalry. Normally, what they can do? They can evade, move here. They roll 4 die, and every green hits, and they cannot enter this hex. However, they can also try to do a feint retreat. So if they want to do it, first of all, they will do it instead of evading, and in order to do it, they have to be eligible to evade. So move 2 hexes best, but they also have to be eligible to retreat full number of hexes they have to retreat. In this case, for this unit, it's for 1, 2, 3, 4. They are eligible, they are eligible. So they say, we are doing the feint retreat. We will be moving 4 hexes backwards. Please roll your die. And the dice in feint retreat also hits only on the color. Now, if they survive, let's assume they survive, they move 4 hexes. And now this unit will be checked against possible, pursuit. You roll 2 die. If 1 or more sword symbols are rolled, the attacking Crusader cavalry must pursue the feint retreat unit. They enter here and they move here. You see what happened? Suddenly, this poor knight is inside of an enemy army and can be killed. Although, honestly, this might be a bigger problem for the Middle Eastern cavalry than for this Crusader itself, because having such a heavy unit at the back of your army can make a lot of problems. But this is how the feint retreat works. I wanted to show it to you. So this was the third tactic of cavalry. The fourth and fifth are the small things. Yeah. The fourth is greatly diminished cavalry superior stature. So in this expansion, no cavalry units benefit from the superior stature status and ignore 1 sword hit when attacked in close combat by an infantry. Normally, when infantry was attacking cavalry, it was in the medieval, you had the cavalry always ignore 1 sword. Not anymore. This time, this rule is not anymore existing. Again, this was the fourth thing. The fifth thing about cavalry would be increased light cavalry unit effectiveness. Finally, they are much more effective, guys, and they hit on swords. This is a huge change because they will not now be able to inflict more damage. This does not touch the light bow cavalry. They don't hit on swords. So the only light cavalry hitting on swords will be the pure light cavalry, and of course this Turcopole infantry. So this is a pretty cool because they have bows and they have on the other side also possibility to hit on swords. So these were the 5 new tactics or solutions for cavalry. Just to sum them up: cavalry interpenetrate first, Crusader cavalry pursuit and feint retreat, our motivated knights who will move forward on, the greatly diminished cavalry superior stature, and increased light cavalry unit effectiveness. 5 very, very important changes. Let's move on. I deliberately put this new rule separately. The relics. Of course, the Crusaders were having relics from the Holy Land, and they had a big impact on them. If we have a relic deployed on the map, what will happen during this scenario? First of all, the unit will get the 5th block, so this heavy infantry has 5 blocks. Then a unit with a relic will close combat with 1 additional die, so this heavy infantry will have 5 dice in the close combat. And a unit with a relic may ignore 1 flag, so they ignore 1 additional flag to the one, for example, for having the leader and being, adjacent to 2 units. So in the extreme situation, this unit is ignoring 3 flags. For the leader, for the support, and for the relic. Pretty powerful. Additionally, each friendly unit adjacent to the unit with a relic may ignore 1 flag, so those 2 units will also ignore flags. Pretty interesting. Yeah. Additional bonus from relic is that normally you can only spend 1 inspired token during your turn and 1 during the opponent's turn. Now you can spend 2. The side having the relic can spend 2 tokens. So in your turn you can either spend on 2 battlefield action or 1 inspired and second the battlefield. During the opponent's turn you can spend 2 inspired action tokens for the battlefield actions. However, there is one limitation, and good to have limitations sometimes. 2 inspired action tokens may not be spent during a turn by a unit or a leader for the same battlefield action. So probably you can spend for ignoring a flag and having 1 additional die in combat, but not the same. You can lose the relic. When the unit is fighting with an enemy and they lose at least 1 block, you roll 2 die. If you roll 2 swords, the relic is lost. The Middle Eastern side gets victory point, and the Crusaders lose all inspired tokens. If you lose the last block, you roll only 1 die. If you roll the sword, they will lose the relic. And if they do not roll the relic, the sword, it simply be lost. So it will disappear. These are the relics. Very climatic thing for me. We are getting to the end of the changes which these expansions are introducing. The last one will be new factions and new inspired actions. First of all, we of course have a Crusader side, and they will always have those inspired actions the same. We have mounted charge, we know, foot onslaught, we know, rally, we know. Fighting march is something new. So a leader is ordered along with a group of units, foot mounted and or leaders that are in adjacent linked contiguous hexes to the ordered leader. The group may span 2 or 3 sections. Each unit and or leader in the group may only move 1 hex, but may engage in the combat. This is something like line command. However, for the other side, we will have like 4 factions. Let me just bring them to them. Collecting this so you can see. This will be Seljuk Turks, this will be Ayyubids and Fatimids, and they all will have their separate, inspired actions. Let us talk about them now, and we will also talk about the new battlefield action. Let's start with the Seljuk Turks. But you have a lot of similar inspired actions as in the initial game: mounted charge, fire and close, rally, move, fire, move, darken the sky. The Fatimids will have something additional: mounted charge, foot onslaught, rally, line command. This is exactly the inspired action which works as a line command card, which allows you to move a group of units connected to a leader with, cavalry, infantry, all types of units. And they have a darken the sky. Last but not least, we have IU beats, and they have probably the biggest number of inspired actions. They have multi charge, fire, move. They have hit and run, something new. Foot and slot, dark and sky, rally. Hit and run allows ordered cavalry units, they must hit and run. All ordered units may move first, then make close combat, and then they move again. So they can come closer, hit, and retreat. Each step is completed by all units before doing the next step. And then we have explanation further. So as you can see, depending against which Middle Eastern army the Crusaders will be fighting, there will be different tactics on their opponents. But that's not all, because there is also the change to the battlefield actions. If you look at the battlefield actions, first of all, Crusaders, you will see that we have still the move leader, battle bonus, bravery. That's what we had. But they have also recall, to up to 3 ordered mounted units may be recalled, move towards their baseline up to 6 hexes. You saw how feint retreat works. It might be very helpful to get back your units. Units may move through friendly units, but terrain movement restrictions still apply. A rally on leader. Before ordering units, one leader may rally units. Roll 2 die, leader symbols and or unit symbols rolled will rally 1 block back to an understrength unit with the leader or in adjacent hex to the leader. Pretty cool. Just a small rally. If we look at the let's say other Middle Eastern armies, you will see that we have showering shot. Units may battle with 2 additional die in range combat, and they will have also the light cavalry swarm. So after movement, up to 4 ordered light cavalry units that are able will combat against the same one enemy unit. Roll all their dice, range or close combat simultaneously. This is a really powerful tactic, not to be used by everybody. For example, Fatamins, they don't have it, but Fatamins don't have also the feint pursuit, so they are a bit weaker in comparison to Ayyubids and Seljuk Turks. So you see a lot of subtleties, a lot of small things which make this game very nice, and I especially like how those Eastern armies are different from each other. The last change which I would like to call out are tons of clarifications which we have in the rulebook. If you read through this, you will see that you have clarifications for inspired leadership actions, for fire and close, also how the Turks are working here. So this is clarification to actually already this part. You will have clarifications on ambush command card, fire and close, leadership commands. There's a lot of things which not only clarify, but a bit change the rules. I will not be going into details here because these are the small things. I would like to sum up with a closing words about Command Scholars Medieval, the Crusades. We are getting a great product, very thematic, with changes which reflect the epoch and which makes the game very interesting. What I especially like is how the Eastern armies differ from each other, how the Crusader armies show their strengths and weaknesses, the introduction of knights, of course, the relics, and the additional units. I can't wait to play more of this game, and believe me guys, I will also bring to you example of play because I believe this will be the best explanation of it. Now, that will be all for today. If you liked this video, do not hesitate, give thumbs up. If you like to see more content like this, kindly please subscribe. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching and thank you for being with me.